What Unite does is simple but unique. We develop, manage and invest in student accommodation. We're the UK's leading developer and manager of student housing. And we operate twice as many beds as our nearest competitor. We provide accommodation to over 40,000 students in 23 university towns and cities across the UK. We operate our own direct booking system as well as working in partnership with universities. And we manage all our buildings 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our accommodation meets high standards. And you'll find ensuite bathrooms, broadband internet, common rooms, and even gyms at many of our sites. We work in partnership with students, universities, and local communities to deliver accommodation when and where it's required. We want all our employees to share an interest and take pride in our unique business model. And there are 3 measures that shape the Unite business: NOI, NPC, and NAV. NOI, or net operating income, is the main driver of our business. It's the cash that each property generates, mainly as rent from students and commercial units, after costs such as wages, utilities, and maintenance have been deducted. NOI also drives the value of our properties. Value is calculated as a multiple of NOI. Generally, an established property is valued at around 15 times the NOI it generates. And at that stage, we consider it stabilised. A new property takes time to get established and is unlikely to be stabilised for at least 18 months. An investor looking at the value of our property would convert this multiple into a percentage to create what's called the yield. So a property valued at £3 million with an NOI of £200,000 would have a yield of 6.7%. Investors look for a yield of more than 6%, and this is what we aim to achieve across our business. But we don't just think about NOI. We also concentrate on NPC, or net portfolio contribution. We don't own all the properties we manage. In fact, nearly half are owned in partnership with other investors, in joint ventures or funds such as USAF, which means we don't keep all of the profit. And there are our other outgoings to consider, such as staff costs, central operations, and interest on the money we've borrowed. We take out loans just like a mortgage, and we use this to build new properties. Because we've chosen our properties carefully, the value of all the buildings we own has increased. By selling some of our new properties into our funds, and by realising the development profits from these properties, we're able to invest more to develop new properties. So, when we want to show the real profit we've made, we talk in terms of NPC. To calculate our NPC, we take the total NOI from all our properties and reduce it, depending upon how much of each property we own. We then deduct our central costs and interest to arrive at a figure for NPC. And our NPC has been growing constantly. You're also likely to hear talk of NAV, or net asset value. That's the total value of all the properties owned by Unite, minus the total debt we owe our banks on all those properties. And there are 2 factors that influence the value of our properties. One is market forces. The other is NOI. So you can see that the activity and income generated at each of our sites contributes directly to all our measures. NOI, NPC and NAV, or put simply, our income, profitability and the value of our business. It's vital that we also focus on cash. Our ability to generate free cash will ensure we can reward investors through payment of a dividend. And it means we can continue to make money available for investment to develop properties. We can all contribute, whether through collecting money due from our students and universities as quickly as possible, spending wisely and efficiently on every area of spend, or acquiring and building our new properties as cost-effectively as we can. So how do we make choices on where to build new properties? We look at the return we'll get on an investment in a given location or city. Although development costs are more expensive in London than elsewhere in the UK, the amount of rent we can charge, and therefore our profit, is also higher. Let's take a look at the sums. Developing properties in London costs around £100,000 per bed, but we can typically make a 30% profit here. Outside of London, while the cost is lower, around £60,000 per bed, we only make about 20% profit. So, right now, Unite's policy is to prioritise investment in London. But not exclusively. In recent years, we've also been developing sites in Edinburgh, Glasgow, Manchester, Leeds, Reading and Exeter. So what's our strategy going forward? We'll continue to target new development opportunities, manage our assets in the smartest way possible, and carry on working in partnership with universities to support their changing accommodation needs. We're a public company. That means investors can buy a share of Unite and we can raise more money to develop new buildings. It also means we have a responsibility to our investors to ensure that they make a return on their investments. So, investors, communities, universities and students, these are the 4 external groups whose needs we must meet and exceed to create a sustainable business. Whether you're in customer services, security, housekeeping, maintenance, or work in a support function in our business units, everybody at Unite has a part to play in continuing to build a truly successful business, one that benefits both our customers and all our stakeholders. And, in case you hadn't realised, that includes you.